Crafting homemade jams, tips and tricks. Crafting homemade jams, tips and tricks. There is something undeniably satisfying about making your own homemade jams. The process of transforming fruits into jars of sweet and tangy spreads is not only a delightful culinary adventure but also a great way to preserve the flavors of each season. Whether you are an experienced jam maker or just starting out, here are some tips and tricks to ensure your homemade jams turn out delicious every time. 1. Choose the right fruit. The key to creating a flavorful jam is using quality fruits. Select ripe, fresh, and preferably locally sourced fruits. Be sure to wash and remove any blemishes or bruises before you begin. It's important to note that different fruits have different natural pectin levels, which affects the jam's consistency. Therefore, it is often recommended to use a mix of ripe and slightly underripe fruits to ensure a good balance of sweetness and pectin. 2. Use the correct ratio of fruit, sugar, and acid. Finding the perfect balance of fruit, sugar, and acid is crucial for a successful batch of homemade jam. Experiment with different ratios to find the perfect balance for your taste buds. 3. Prepare your equipment and work area. Before diving into the jam making process, make sure you have all the necessary equipment and a clean work area. You will need a large pot for cooking the jam, glass jars with lids for storage, a ladle, a wide-mouth funnel for pouring the jam into the jars, and a jar lifter or tongs for handling hot jars. It's important to sterilize the jars and lids before using them. This can be done by boiling them in a pot of water for a few minutes or using a dishwasher's sterilization cycle. The stovetop method allows for better control over the cooking process, while the slow cooker or instant pot method requires less hands-on attention and effort. It's a matter of personal preference and convenience. Whichever method you choose, be patient and diligent in monitoring the cooking process to avoid burning or overcooking the jam. 5. Skim off foam. As the jam cooks, it will likely produce foam on the surface. This foam is harmless but can cause the jam to become cloudy. To achieve a clear and visually appealing jam, skim off the foam using a spoon or a large flat metal ladle. This step is especially important if you plan on gifting or presenting your homemade jam. 6. Test for proper consistency. Determining the right consistency of your jam is often the trickiest part. Overcooking can result in a thick, sticky jam, while undercooking may lead to a runny texture. To test for proper consistency, use the freezer test. Place a small plate in the freezer before you start making the jam. As you near the end of the cooking process, place a small dollop of hot jam on the cold plate and let it sit for a few seconds. If the jam wrinkles when you push your finger through it, it's ready. If not, continue cooking and test again after a few minutes. 7. Properly seal and store jars. To ensure the longevity of your homemade jams, it's essential to properly seal and store the jars. Once the jam is ready, carefully fill the hot jars, leaving about 1/4 inch headspace. Wipe away any spills or drips on the jar rims, place the lids on top, and tighten the rings. For an added layer of protection, you can also process the jars in a water bath canner. By submerging the sealed jars in boiling water for a specified time, you create a vacuum seal that extends the shelf life of your jams. Be sure to follow proper canning techniques and guidelines for safe preservation. Add herbs like basil or lavender, spices like cinnamon or ginger, or even a hint of citrus zest to elevate the taste profile of your jams. The possibilities are endless, and the results can be surprisingly delicious. 9. Label and date your jars. To avoid any confusion in the future, label your jars with the type of jam and the date it was made. Furthermore, keep a record of the recipes you use and any modifications you make. This will help you replicate successful batches and troubleshoot any issues that may arise. 10. Enjoy and share the fruits of your labor. Finally, after all the hard work and patience, it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor and share them with friends and family. Use your homemade jams to top morning toast, stir into yogurt, drizzle over ice cream, or even as a filling for pastries. Nothing beats the satisfaction of seeing others savor the flavors you crafted with love. Crafting homemade jams can be both a therapeutic and rewarding experience. With these tips and tricks, you'll be well on your way to becoming a master jam maker. So, grab your apron, fresh fruits, and jars, and start creating a delectable spread that will bring joy and delight to your culinary adventures. 11. Experiment with pectin alternatives. Traditionally, pectin is used to help thicken and set the jam. However, if you prefer a more natural approach, there are alternative methods to achieve the same result. Fruits like apples, quinces, and citrus fruits are high in natural pectin and can be added to your jam mixture to enhance the consistency. You can also use pectin substitutes like chia seeds or agar-agar, which have gelling properties and can help thicken the jam without the need for added pectin.